This is Optimal Startup Daily, episode 389. Does it help to be desperate? And should you learn programming? Yes. Both by Derek Sivers of Sivers. That's Sive.rs. And hi there, welcome back to Optimal Startup Daily. My name is Dan, and I'm here every single day reading to you from some of the best blogs on entrepreneurship. And today we have not one, but two posts from Derek Sivers, and I'm going to share more about Derek after the reading. But for now, let's get right to the first post and start optimizing your life. Does it help to be desperate? By Derek Sivers of Sivers, Sive.rs. I'd always felt it was best to never be desperate. Confidence comes from knowing you have many options. But reading the autobiography of Richard Branson, the founder of Virgin, it was clear his entire career was driven by a self-created desperation. He would always sweet-talk the bank into giving him a large loan to take on an ambitious new venture. Then he'd stay deep in debt past the final hour, always to the brink of getting repossessed, and use that do-or-die desperation to take an even more ambitious gamble, somehow coming out ahead. Just enough to pay off the loan, then do it again with something even more ambitious. Here are some examples. 1. When he was only 21, running Virgin Records and Tapes, his little record shop in Notting Hill, he thought what rock stars needed was a big, comfortable house in the country where a band could come in and stay for weeks at a time and record whenever they felt like it. So he drove out to the countryside looking at ads, found a 15-bedroom manor that had been on the market a long time, and was able to make a great deal for £30,000. He had no money himself, but borrowed a little from his family and then showed the bank his business receipts and got a loan. He turned it into a successful recording studio. 2. Virgin had a hit record, and though its success was enough to pay off past debts, he didn't have much profit left for himself. When he was 28, he took a vacation and fell in love with this island, which is linked in the post, that was for sale for £5 million. Through negotiation and luck, he was able to buy it for $180,000, but the government required that he turn it into a resort within 5 years at a cost of about $10 million, or the ownership would revert back to the government. He said, quote, "I was determined to make the money to be able to afford it," end quote. And for the next few years, he was always pushing down to the wire to come up with the money to do so. 3. During that time, Virgin Records hadn't had a hit record in years and was broke. His business partner said they had no option but to cut costs and drop artists. Richard says, quote, "I have always believed that the only way to cope with a cash crisis is not to contract, but try to expand out of it," end quote. So he decided to go deeper into debt, borrowed $1 million, signed Phil Collins, Human League, and bought 2 nightclubs. All were successful and made Virgin profitable again. And 4. Only 2 years later, he started an airline against everyone's warnings, which was so deeply in debt for so many years that it almost destroyed his other companies. He ended up having to sell Virgin Records to keep the airline from going under. But again, this sense of danger, desperation, and deep debt fueled his next 10 years of ambitious expansion. So here I am reading this, impressed but confused. I'm frugal. I avoid debt. I save most of my income and never spend more than I earn. Because of this, I'm comfortable. Is this the wrong approach? Could it actually help to be desperate? Could that drive us to new heights out of necessity? On the other hand, haven't we all seen smart people do dumb things when desperate, like signing bad deals or stealing? So what's the difference? Now, I have another post from Derek coming up in just a sec, but first, are your credit card bills keeping you up at night? Interest rates in the double digits? Be smart and pay off your credit card balances with a credit card consolidation loan from Lightstream. Rates start at 4.98% APR with autopay and excellent credit. Plus, the rate is fixed, so it will never go up over the life of the loan. You can get a loan from $5,000 to $100,000, and there are absolutely no fees. You can even get your money as soon as the day you apply. Lightstream believes that people with good credit deserve a better loan experience, and that is exactly what they deliver. Our team has tried it, and we were impressed with what Lightstream could do. And just for my listeners, apply now to get a special interest rate discount and save even more. The only way to get this discount is to go to lightstream.com/OSD. lightstream.com/OSD. Subject to credit approval, rates range from 4.98% APR to 19.99% APR and include 0.5% autopay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply, and offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/OSD for more information. Should you learn programming? Yes, by Derek Sivers of Sivers. That's SIVE.RS. When I was 14 years old, my guitar teacher told me something important. He said, "You need to learn to sing, because if you don't, you're always going to be at the mercy of some asshole singer." His point was about self-reliance. If you ever have any ideas, whether for songs or apps, you need to have some basic skills to turn those ideas into reality. One of the most common things I hear from aspiring entrepreneurs is, "I have this idea for an app or site, but I'm not technical, so I need to find someone who can make it for me." I point them to my advice about how to hire a programmer, but most programmers are already busy and expensive. Imagine if someone said, "I have this idea for a song, but I'm not musical, so I need to find someone who will write, perform, and record it for me." You'd probably advise them to just learn enough guitar or piano so they can play their song. It's like learning to drive or make dinner. You only need to learn enough so you're not helpless. So yes, you should learn some programming. Basic HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are enough to start. I recommend head first HTML and CSS first, then head first HTML5 programming. Those are very fun, visual books where you need to see the detailed illustrations, so get the paper book or PDF. If you prefer a course and community, use Free Code Camp. Ideally, do those books and this course at the same time to really reinforce what you're learning. You could go through those books or courses in a few weeks and you'd already know as much as half of the people that call themselves web developers. It's a really amazing feeling. The mystery is lifted. You'll look at all websites in a new way. You'll understand what's going on behind the scenes. You'll know how to do it yourself. It's really empowering. It's definitely been the most rewarding thing I've ever learned. You just listened to the posts titled, "Does it help to be desperate?" and "Should you learn programming?" Yes, both by Derek Sivers of Sivers. That's SIVE.RS. And thank you to Derek for letting us share his work today. He is a musician and programmer who created the popular website CD Baby, where independent musicians can sell their CDs online and even have their music submitted online to Apple Music, Spotify, and more. Around 10 years ago, owning the entire company, he sold it to disc makers for $22 million, putting most of it away into an organization he created called the Independent Musicians Charitable Trust, which will fund music education after he passes away. He's a super unique guy, a TEDx speaker, and popular writer with some great books like Anything You Want. Definitely worth checking those out. So come by his site, which is just his last name with a dot in it. That's Sivers, spelled SIVE.RS. But that's going to do it for today. I hope you have a great rest of your day and that you'll be back with me here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.